Welcome to Pirates, Vikings, and Knights 2, a unique and surprisingly well-made Half-Life 2 mod that still plays excellently. It's pretty silly sometimes, but it's also got a very satisfying melee system which, combined with the naturally good feel of, sort of ancient ranged combat, allows for a lot of variance in playstyles. It's pretty much Mordhau, but a bit more buggy and a bit less good looking, but I still love it, and I've been playing it for longer than I've been playing Mordhau. And it's free, which is far cheaper than Mordhau. The game has multiple game modes, but the most commonly played are Booty and Deathmatch. Booty is effectively a capture the flag type game, where the three teams, being Pirates, Vikings, and Knights, all fight over 6 chests to try and bring as many back to their respective bases as possible. The more chests your team has, the faster you lose tickets, and the first team to lose all their tickets wins. Deathmatch, as you probably guessed, is a game mode scored entirely via fighting. There are still teams, but you're basically just running around the map trying to take out everybody else who isn't on your side. Most of the footage I have, and all the footage in this video, is from Deathmatch, because I really enjoy the combat in this game. You can dodge, kick, parry, and attack from different directions. Each team has several unique classes with unique play styles, weapons, and special abilities, and I'm going to cover them all in this video, starting with the Pirates. First on the Pirate team is the Skirmisher, your average crewmate who's just doing his best to impress his captain and earn his fair share of glory. He carries a cutlass, 6 flintlock pistols, and a powder keg. Once his special meter is full, he can perform a charge with his cutlass, which ordinarily knocks enemies back a lot, but I'm fairly certain that if you pin someone against a wall with it, then it's like a guaranteed kill. The pistols can be fired in quick succession, and then you have to reload them all, which takes a long time. This means it's a good weapon to use in the middle of a fight to interrupt the enemy's flow, or to finish them off from a distance. The powder keg takes a moment to be lit, but once it blows up, it deals a lot of damage to everybody nearby. It's pretty much all about the timing of throwing it. Next is the Captain, who loves his parrot so much that there are dedicated voice lines cursing the enemy if they kill it. He carries a nice cutlass, a blunderbuss, and a parrot. The cutlass is surprisingly strong and really feels weighty, which basically just means it sounds powerful and can liberate the enemy's restless legs from their restricting torso with ease. The blunderbuss is just about useless, dealing basically no damage unless you're really close and taking so long to reload that your average archer will have turned you into a pincushion by the time you stop fiddling around with the ramrod. However, the captain's special ability fires an explosive ball out of the blunderbuss, which effectively vaporizes anyone within about a meter of where it hits. The parrot is an excellent distraction, and very annoying to face off against, as it doesn't seem to have a specific lifespan, instead attacking constantly until somebody kills it. When you're fighting a captain, his parrot is pretty hard to hit a lot of the time, and it can easily kill you or get you killed if you don't take care of it. Now, the final member of the pirate team is the Sharpshooter. He is a Spaniard, I think, with a rifle, a pistol, and a very fancy dagger that is possibly the least skillful weapon in the game. This dagger will attack constantly if you hold down the left mouse button, meaning that you just have to shove your face up against the enemy and keep your crosshair on them to win a fight. It's easy, but a little risky, but quite fun. His pistol has a fast reload and moderate damage, which, when combined with its ability to aim down sights, can be quite effective at finishing off enemies. His rifle has a very slow reload, but it is extremely powerful when aimed at the head, and can still take away nearly half the enemy's health when shot at the torso. It also has an excellent special ability, which, quite wastefully, throws the powder horn at the enemy as a grenade. It obviously, as it definitely would in real life, explodes on impact, and is very effective. Now we move on to the Vikings. The Vikings are a tough bunch, with a lot of ranged weapons, a lot of anger, and a lot of classes. First is the Berserker, a very large fellow with a big axe. This axe deals a lot of damage, even uncharged, and really chops up the competition. However, he also carries a smaller axe and a sword, which, like the Sharpshooter's dagger, can be used to chip away at the enemy's health bar without much effort at all.
That chip damage.
His special ability can be used with any of his weapons, and basically just makes him very angry.
Hold it down.
Because as is commonly known, you do not feel any pain while angry, and you attack with far more power.
What?
Next is the Huskarl, and I'm probably butchering these names, but he wields another axe, a sword and shield combo, and several throwing axes. The wiki itself describes the Huskarl's axe as more glamorous than the Berserkers, matching it in power but quote-unquote surpassed in speed. I really don't know if they're using the word surpassed correctly, because it sounds like they're... Because the way they're using it makes it sound like they're disrespecting the Huskarl's axe's speed, but I think it's actually faster than the Berserker's axe, so I'm really not sure. I think it might have been sort of a misunderstanding of how the word surpassed works, but whatever. The sword and shield are a decent addition to any class, but since shields actually have durability now, it's far less relevant than it once was. However, the special ability for the Huskarl is a shield charge, which does a lot of knockback and can result in some amazing situations like this one. The Huskarl can carry up to 6 of his throwing axes at once, and they deal a lot of damage if they're fully charged and thrown at the right spot.
Play that one more time.
And now comes the Gestier, the spearman of the Viking team.
Now they're just weaving around
He carries,
each other.
you'll never guess what, a spear, and you'll never guess this one either, another spear, and finally, a sword and shield. Yet again, the sword and shield are fairly irrelevant, even though the sword does look pretty cool on this one, and it deals a little bit more damage than other sword and shield
In practice, it might be a little
combos.
though, given aim.
The Gestier's main spear is pretty decent damage-wise, but requires a lot of precision since all of its attacks are stabs. This includes the special attack, which charges forwards with the spear, dealing significant damage. The Gestier's secondary spear is actually javelins, meaning I lied to you earlier when I said it was a spear. Now, you could be forgiven for thinking that the javelins were just a reskin of the throwing axes, which you could consider just a reskin of the bows, but these ones are different. Because not only are they nearly the most powerful ranged weapon in the game, they also only charge when you're running forward, which adds, a little bit of nuance to an otherwise monotone weapon. And last on the Viking team comes the Bondi, a young archer with a flat bow, CX, and an atlatl. I'm probably saying that wrong, but the atlatl is amazing. We'll come back to that. The flat bow is pretty unremarkable when it comes to range or power, but it fires quickly and very accurately.
To the microphone.
The Bondi's special ability is to fire something of a hailstorm of special arrows at the enemy, which, decimates them pretty quickly. The CX is a traditional Viking sword originally used around the village, and it's also the same as the sword that the Gestier uses with his shield. Finally, we have the atlatl.
There's many pirates
The atlatl. An atlatl is a javelin throwing tool from very ancient times, which can propel a javelin very fast into many different targets, including stationary scallywags. It's very effective, very quick to charge, and very accurate, and I love it. Finally, we come to the knights. These noble men and one woman serve their king, or queen, or whoever happens to be on the throne at the time, to the last, and do so with style. First up is the Heavy Knight, who wields a two-handed sword, a sword and shield combo, and a very large health bar. His two-handed sword, whose special allows him to perform a powerful spin attack, is very effective at chopping, slicing, dicing, mincing, square rooting, and slaughtering the enemies of the Empire. His sword and shield combo is basically just the same as all the rest, but it's worse at everything except for protection. The archer is one of my favorites, because bows in games are very fun to use, and this has a pretty cool special attack. He also carries a crossbow and a short sword. The longbow has range, accuracy, and power, but not speed.
Just like the good old days, fighting barbarians.
Its special ability loads 4 flaming arrows into it, which deal pretty significant damage and are sort of spread over an area, so they're good for groups or very, very close range fighting. The crossbow is fairly useless because it takes forever to reload and deals barely any damage. But it does have like almost comical amounts of knockback, so if you're on a cliff or an enemy is pressing too close to you, just let loose with the crossbow. That was a good one. The short sword is pretty effective all around. It's fairly balanced between between damage, reach, and speed, so it's not very specialized, but it works for most situations. Arms time. The man-at-arms is a Frenchman, I believe, with a halberd, a crossbow, a mace and shield combo, and apparently some rather major bowel problems, which I will not be making any jokes about in this video. His special attack can be used with any weapon, as it is simply some very effective flatulence that poisons the enemy and provides you with a slight forward speed boost. The halberd has good reach and damage, even if it is a bit slow. And the mace and shield combo are basically just a slightly more damaging sword and shield. His crossbow is pretty much the same as the archer's. Man, the melee combat in this game is fun. Last but not least, the assassin is a swift and light woman with low health. She carries a parrying dagger and stiletto knife combo, which is pretty fast when it comes to stabbing, a hand crossbow, and a bag of caltrops. The knives are quick, but they have little reach and low damage unless they're used to stab someone in the back. The hand crossbow is just a smaller and quicker version of the other crossbows, which does make it a little better than them because of that, but it also deals less damage. The caltrops can be thrown on the ground to slow down and damage enemies that pass over them, and while they don't deal much damage, like, at all, I somehow got a kill with them at one point. Anyway, that's all the classes in the game, and I hope you've enjoyed. I'll probably just put some extra gameplay here just to, you know, use up the rest of my footage. So, hasta la vista, viewer. I'll see you tomorrow. Not long until Christmas at all. 6 days. 6 days. Anyway, goodbye. Robin Hood the heroic outlaw, Robin Hood the not so heroic in-law. Oh my gosh. I think I just shot that parrot. Oops. It's real quick. Oh my gosh. PTSD moment. Whirlwind Strike was a waste of a special, but I got him.